electrode may not stand up in here without knocking it over. So somebody might have to be responsible for holding the electrode up while the other person works with the meter, okay? So,
And a buffer with a pH of 4 is an acid. Acids can damage your eyes. It's very important that you wear your safety glasses.
right, okay. And so, tomorrow we're gonna lecture all about pH. So, we just kind of get in the lab first today. So, so you can go ahead and put that in the pH 4 buffer. And so, we're just gonna follow the instructions. Okay, so do you have the pH electrode up, I guess, on your spark view?
Because it's not ready for measurement, we gotta finish. We don't understand.
So touch the pH on your spark view.
So what's that pink stuff?
Okay, and so once you touch pH on your spark
What's that pink
view,
stuff?
then you want to touch
What is
the
it?
little wrench in the screw.
It's pH something.
Okay, that's the
pH 4.
the symbol for setting.
So you're going to calibrate it?
Electrode in the pH 4 buffer. You should give it a minute or so to equilibrate, and then touch. Okay, so make sure your first buffer, it says 4, and then you can touch read from sensor. Okay, and so once it's you touch read from sensor, it should have
New collaboration,
4 points in there.
new calibration. Do I touch it? Oh, sensor value. Does it keep
So
changing
that
every time I
sends
touch
your
it?
pH 4 point to read
It shouldn't.
4.
Ooh, it is.
So now I
Get
have to
your
rinse
wash bottle. Okay, so we're going to use the deionized water in the wash bottle. Okay, so you can go the squirt bottle.
I thought that was a DI.
I'm gonna pull it out and then you're gonna wash it out.
So
You
you
ready?
squeeze it, water will come out of the straw.
So you don't.
Squeeze it, water will come out of the straw, so you want to spray it onto the bottom of your sensor to rinse it off really well. Okay.
Beard will get a second shower.
What y'all doing?
We are rinsing off our sensor
Why?
with deionized water before we put it in another chemical or solution.
Okay.
So you want to rinse off your with this to sort of block off the liquid, okay? So these are like laboratory wipes, but they're laboratory Kleenex, okay? So Kleenex will work fine, except it'll leave more lint, okay? So you're going to dip it into the pH 10, and then you're going to do it says calibrate second point, okay? So make sure that it says 10, and then you're going to click read from sensor. Okay, so if it doesn't say 10, then you'll change it, okay? So touch it. Okay, and then use the keyboard there to change it.
Go back to where he read from sensor.
Oh.
He said to change it to pH.
Okay, so make sure that your second
Can I
point
see how you do
calibration
this?
says
Go back to
10.
Can I see how you type it in?
Use the
Oh.
keyboard.
So did he say council?
I think so.
He said
You
plus
read from sensor.
10.
Read from sensor first. So you still showing the last one at 4. Now it should say 10. If it doesn't say 10, I guess you have to check. Well, you don't have it in there. You got to put it in it. Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to hit calibrate second point?
Now read. Just. No, I thought it was going to say a different standard.
I thought it was gonna say 10 in the beginning like that. Said
Is it in there? Then you gotta calibrate it to make it read 10.
Okay, now we got
So
10,
change it to
and now you can.
See, you
And
see
you
it's
can
7. See,
hit
it's
read
red,
from.
but it's not 7. It should be
I just hit
So
it,
you
just
gotta
tapped it,
change it
and
to
then
10.
just changed it to 10.
How do we do that?
Because you'll tap a keyboard come up, and then
Oh, okay.
change it to 10. You just tap that there. So now you gotta just do read from sensor.
See, it's 10. You put 10 in it, come up. Oh, you gotta delete all the other, yeah. So see
Okay,
how
yeah,
it
that's right.
calibrates?
Then you got
So you're taking the pH with a red line.
Okay, thank you.
So
That's a pH 7 buffer you can try, okay? So we'll put it in the pH 7 buffer and we'll see if it reads 7. If it doesn't, we'll recalibrate. Now, just a little word. If you know that what you're going to be measuring is acidic, okay, so pH less than 7, the best thing to do would be to use the 4 and the 7 buffer to calibrate. If you know that it's going to be basic, or pH greater than 7, the best thing is to use the 7 and the 10. We're not quite sure what we're going to get from your water and soil samples, okay, so we're going all the way from 4 to 10. So we're ready for anything, but it might be a little more accurate if we knew, okay, so it says that in your instructions. So to start measuring, we get the
What y'all doing?
We're measuring the pH on this substance that he just gave us.
pH 7.
I don't know what this is. I don't know if
pH 7 you said?
seven.
Okay.
it's seven.
Why are you doing that?
To measure measuring the mass of a
go into the 4,
We're recalibrating right now.
okay, and so I'm going to say calibrate, and we're going to do 2 point until it pH. Now, okay, so our standard value says 10, and I'm going to touch read from sensor. Okay, so the number changed. It should have it. So I'm going to say OK. So now we're ready to start actually reading pH. So you touch the green until you touch it, and it should come up and say 10. There we go. So now you can
Know
try.
what we been
Now you can try your 7.
So what just happened? Why is that now there?
Talking about 8. Now I'm like,
because we took the pH of the
we calibrated
pH 4 and the pH after we calibrated the pH 4 and the pH 10. Now we wanted to, what was the word for it when we're not calibrating this? We're looking for the
But once you've seen it,
Just want to make sure it got a pH of 7. So just make sure that if that was done right with those calibrating, then that should give you a
close to
7.
7.
And y'all are just about spot on. That's great. Okay, so now we can use it with confidence.
we measure the pH of this distilled water, what do you think we're going to get? Okay, so how many people say we're going to get 7? Okay, we're going to talk about this in some detail tomorrow, but we aren't going to get 7. Okay, so there's a couple things we're going to need to do. One is distilled water doesn't have any ions in it, right? At least there's not any ions that we've put in there. And so what we're going to need to do for the electrode to work is put a tiny bit of salt in there. Okay, so there's a little container on your bench there that says salt. So we're going to take a beaker, a 100 ml or 150 ml beaker, and you're going to rinse it 2 or 3 times with just a little bit of the distilled water. And so I'll kind of go around and clean some. Okay, and then you're going to put just a tiny bit of salt in there. And that's going to give the ions for that little probe to work. Then when you measure the pH, I'm going to bet you're not going to get 7. But let's see what you get, okay? So if you don't get 7, that doesn't mean it's not working, okay? So get a beaker and I'll give you some to work with here. Okay.
He said a little bit. So a little bit. Should be said a little bit. Him and his camera.
You gotta get that out of there. I will, baby.
Actually,
Oh, gotta rinse it.
actually, rinse a smaller beaker. Okay, so, here, y'all can pass on and just get some.
This and distilled water,
So,
To measure the pH balance.
rinse a small
and your value is.
distilled water 2 or 3 times, and then put about 50
So what does it mean if it's a number below 7?
The salt is,
It's not.
there's like one
It's
container.
acidic.
Water that's in contact, okay, listen up. Water that's in contact with the air contains carbon dioxide. Okay, so remember that's what the plants are turning into sugars, right? So the carbon dioxide in the air dissolves in the water and causes it to be slightly acidic. So depending on exactly how much carbon dioxide and the temperature, it can be about 5.5, and that's in the ballpark of what you're seeing, right? So rainwater is not going to be neutral for that reason, and neither will the lab water, okay? So neutral is 7, but that's pure water, and this water is not pure because of the dissolved carbon dioxide. So again, we'll talk more about that tomorrow morning. Okay, so you can do the same thing with your water, pond water sample, okay? So rinse your beaker about 3 times with some of your pond water, add a little salt to it and measure.
Got it?
So do you want to get another beaker or we going
Well, we can just rinse it out a couple times. Just
So
rinse
you
it.
want to use the same one?
Yeah, we're gonna use some more distilled water. No, we're gonna use our pond water, and then put some sodium chloride in.
I know, he was just saying,
Not that one.
You don't like that one?
So what's that?
This is our pond water.
Sodium chloride, a little bit. You know,
Will. And so the sodium chloride.
just gonna put a little bit in there.
So we don't want to know what it is without the sodium chloride?
The salt will give you a better reading.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so like I said, rinse out your beaker with some of your pond water 2 or 3 times. I think
And you stir it up in there. Try to get it to
You can use that probe to stir it too. Right?
Okay.
Or
a little
that.
pinch of salt in your pond water also.
There you go.
Yeah. So the pond water probably doesn't contain quite as much as to get a stable.
Still acidic over here. Let's see. Doesn't have much of a difference there. Pond water.
So a point higher than your
It
still
is.
water.
Yeah.
So the other thing that
It's
can
more
be
big.
happening in your pond water is your soil sample
Okay,
itself.
so what do
is
you
the
get
pond
for
sitting
your
on?
pond water?
So if we have something like forest fire, it can actually acidify the water short term. But our rivers and our lakes and our streams usually have like a limestone bed. That limestone is calcium carbonate. It's going to turn the water basic. So even if we acidify our water, the soil type, depending on what it is, can bring that pH back up.
So the
towards
organisms in the water, they do not matter at all.
Well, they can, but I would expect that if you have a lot of microorganisms in the water and they're dying or doing whatever, that would be more on the acidic side. But I don't know, it could be a
So it really
relationship
just
between the
takes care of
two.
itself. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really does.
So the water that's been in contact, pure water that's in contact with air would be about 5.5. And so the rainwater might be about 5.5 depending on some other factors. And so before the water gets to the pond, it might have run across, the soccer field, past the tennis courts, and then into the pond, and so that can modify what the pH would be. Okay? So any questions about that so far?